Happy Friday, everybody. Time for some comic book news regarding the Scarlet Speedster. So the fastest man alive is speeding towards that monumental 750th issue, which will be a 96-page monster tribute to the mantle that's had our hearts and imaginations racing for decades. And to celebrate, DC Comics is releasing variants to commemorate each decade. They were recently revealed, and I wanted to go over each of them. But we're going to start with the standard variant by Howard Porter and Hi-Fi Colors. And the aspect of this that immediately pops out to me and stands out is the coloring and the energy just kind of flying off of here at high speeds, because you have the red, yellow, and the white all around this. Got the cracks in the ground, the rocks from the ground just popping up into the air, and there's a whole lot of energy and attitude coming off of this cover here. And also want to mention this tweet that I read that said it looks as if Flash is fighting Constantine, and how they wanted to see that fight, which would be interesting to see. So that's just something I was funny and I wanted to mention. But yeah, definitely Flash. So this is the standard cover, and then we're going to jump into the decades variant starting in the 1940s with Nicola Scott and Annette Kwok, who I'm not too familiar with Annette Kwok, but Nicola Scott, who I am a fan of and just love work on Black Magic, which is one of the, I don't know if it was the first place I saw her, but definitely one of my earliest kind of memories with her fantastic series from Image Comics, and definitely worth checking out. I have I think it's 11 issues right now. I don't know if they're planning on revisiting again, but that's just something to just set aside some of her fantastic art there. But it does feature Jay Garrick, and I've never really been a fan of Jay Garrick because I just don't care for his design as much. But I like Nicola Scott, and everything she touches is gold. So I don't know, maybe I will check this out. So that is the 1940s, Nicola Scott, Annette Kwok. And then we jump to the 1950s with Gary Frank and Brad Anderson presenting Flash versus Gorilla Grodd, one of DC's best villains, and I'm pretty sure one of Flash's most popular villains as well. Nothing too spectacular here. And just Flash speeding around Grodd. Looks like he's, I don't know what the energy kind of represents, if it's just Grodd's kind of laying out some psychic attacks there. So who knows, but 1950s, Gary Frank, Brad Anderson. And then jump up to the 60s, we got Nick Darrington presenting Jay Garrick and Barry kind of shaking hands. This one's cool because you just have all the Flash's rogues gallery in the background there. Professor Zoom, Gorilla Grodd, Captain Boomerang, Captain Cold, one of these Trickster, Weather. I always get all of Flash's villains kind of mixed up, actually. Like the Flash, and it has these, I don't know how you would sum up his rogues gallery. They're just kind of, I don't want to say kooky, but they kind of are. But some of them I do get mixed up from time to time. So I know one's a Trickster, Mirror Master, Weather Wizard. That's one of them, I think. And then even with Professor Zoom, I don't even know if Professor Zoom and Reverse Flash are even the same guy. Sometimes I was like, wait, are they the same character? Two different ones? I don't know. I just encounter them so rarely. So anyway, but just kind of cool. Them two characters shaking hands there. Like Jay Garrick's kind of tipping his weird bowl hat there. So yeah, that is the 1960s. And jumping up to the 70s, we got Jose Luis Garcia Lopez and Alex Sinclair presenting Flash kind of running away from his rogues gallery as well, featuring some of the same characters and looks like a few others as well. So I do not see, I don't know, Captain Boomerang's there, but yeah, a couple other characters here that were not in the other one. So kind of interesting there. Got Captain Cold, got two guns there. I don't think I've ever actually seen Jose Luis Garcia Lopez's work before. I am familiar with Alex Sinclair, but not Garcia Lopez. So it's just interesting to see. And then let's jump up to the 80s. Now this is one of the covers that I pre-ordered. We got Gabriel Dado, and then this one kind of is supposed to represent Flash's moment with whatever crisis was going on in the 80s. I always forget those. I think there's Crisis on Infinite Earth. But Gabriel Dado is just such a fantastic artist. And even I hadn't even seen the covers, but I pre-ordered a couple of them. This is one. The other one is coming up in 2 decades, I think. And once I saw the names, I was like, oh yeah, I'm pre-ordering those too. I only picked up 2 so far, but I still may get Nicola Scott. So, but this one just cool. Just nothing too flashy. I don't even understand what the background represents. What happened? I don't know what's going on in the 80s with the Flash. I wasn't reading Flash back then, and I haven't read any stories from that time period. So, but just a cool image of the Flash there. And then we have the 90s presented by Francesco Mattina, who is no stranger to doing Flash variants, and he's also done tons of Batman variants for both of their respective Rebirth series as well. This one is actually pretty similar to a lot of his previous covers. Still just definitely flashy, a lot of energy popping off here, and just cool artists. So like once you saw his name, you kind of had a decent idea of what to expect from him. This one I actually might consider picking up as well, just because it just looks cool like all his other ones, even though, like I said, you know what to expect. And that's just like quality art, so definitely eye-catching there. So Francesco Mattina, 1990s. And then we have 2000s. This is the second cover that I pre-ordered because I saw Jim Lee, and the Flash, I feel, has been such a rarity. I just like, all right, I need to check this out. So we got Jim Lee, Scott Williams, and Alex Sinclair, who I mentioned before. And I'm familiar with Alex Sinclair because frequent collaborator with Jim Lee, who has always been one of my favorite artists, creator I've grown up, basically kind of grew up with. So Marvel, Image, and lots of his DC work. Now this one it features Flash kind of speeding through his Rose Gallery again, and just kind of taking them all down. Got Captain Cold right there near the front, Gorilla Grodd, and a whole bunch of other people. So only thing about this one is I feel I'm actually kind of underwhelmed by it. It almost reminds me of the New 52, when there was this kind of promo image that they used for a t-shirt for, I think it was San Diego Comic-Con or something. And it almost seems as if Jim Lee doesn't know what to do with the Flash sometimes. So I don't know, maybe I have to just find some more work of Jim Lee drawing the Flash, because it just seems so, I don't know, just something about maybe the pose, or I don't know, it's hard to describe, but it just doesn't seem that fantastic. But I will say it does feature one of my favorite aspects of the Flash's design, which is the lightning belt, and how it kind of points, like the two ends meet together instead of it being one continuous like bolts around. I don't know, that was something I always kind of appreciated with Wally West, especially in the Justice League cartoons. So yeah, Jim Lee, Scott Williams, Alex Sinclair, 2000s. And then we got the 2010s, Francis Manapul, similar to Francesco Mattina. This is another creator who has definitely been, I don't even know what you could say, but definitely just linked with the Flash. So he's perfect for this decade because he's just done so much with the New 52 and then with Rebirth as well. Just a fantastic creator, again, as the rest of this list is. And this one is actually, I'm just kind of even noticing more detail in this, with kind of how Flash is coming towards the reader, basically. And you kind of see in the background and behind him from the bottom towards the corner there, him kind of speeding around and turning and then coming right at the reader. So that's cool. I don't know what's going on in the background, if that's buildings, maybe I don't know what's going on, but it does look cool. Similar to Mattina though, it just looks like some of his previous covers, but that could just be a stylistic thing, just kind of what you kind of deal with when you're drawing the Flash, I guess. So yeah, Francis Manapul, 2010s, just another one that just looks so cool. So just tons of cool art. So now, what do you think of these covers? Which ones will you be picking up? I already said I will be picking up the Jim Lee, Scott Williams, and Alex Sinclair one, along with the Gabriel Deodato. Now, if I can come across a couple of the other ones, Nicola Scott and Francis Manapul or Francesco Mattina, if I come across them at sales, perhaps I would pick them up. I don't need all 5 of them, especially at full price. But what do you think about the Decades variants as a practice for celebrations such as these? You also have the Wonder Woman ones that's just released. I kind of dig them, especially with DC. You have just so much history, all of these time periods that you just want to celebrate, these characters that have been with us for so long. So And then who's your favorite to have taken up the mantle? I kind of mentioned I was partial to Wally West because of his lightning belt. It is the most superficial reason to like somebody, but the eye catcher and kind of grew up with the Justice League cartoons. But I've read more Barry Allen stuff than I have Wally West stories. So also, who's your favorite Flash villain? Because I'm definitely curious about that. I think Gorilla Grodd or Captain Cold are definitely at the top 2 spots. I couldn't say which one would be my favorite. It'd probably depend on the day you ask me which I'd pick. So that's that. And then Flash number 750 will hit shelves and digital devices on March 4th and will retail for $9.99. So let me know what you think, and happy reading, happy hunting, happy collecting. This is GENOTHADRAGON saying thanks for watching and peace out.